In the second part of Plato's Republic, Socrates explains why being just is always better, is always more profitable than being unjust. The philosopher uses an image of city, which he calls Callipolis, just city, to seek how justice appears in the soul of an individual. In a described city, everything is working perfectly well, everybody lives happily and healthily, performing his own task, because people are ruled by aristocrats called guardians who are absolutely virtuous and right. Please notice that a guardian is a person who protects or defends something in its first meaning. And so, what does it mean to be true aristocrat, true guardian, according to Socrates? First of all, guardians are excellent warriors. They must be invincible, unconquerable, absolutely fearless, and indomitable in terms of fighting for their city and protecting it. Invincible, impossible to defeat or prevent from doing what is intended. Unconquerable, not able to be defeated or not able to be successfully controlled. Indomitable, strong, brave, and impossible to defeat or make frightened. In other words, guardians are persons whose souls are full of spirit. Socrates' interlocutors feel a little bit embarrassed with such a definition of guardians, and they ask philosopher a question to clarify the idea. But are not these spirited natures apt to be savage with one another and with everybody else? Savage means extremely violent, wild, or frightening. Socrates responds, they ought to be dangerous to their enemies and gentle to their friends. If not, they will destroy themselves without waiting for their enemies to destroy them. Interlocutors continue to doubt the idea. How shall we find a gentle nature which has also a great spirit, but the one is a contradiction of the other? The philosopher makes a comparison which helps interlocutors to understand the idea deeper. You know that well-bred dogs are perfectly gentle to their familiars and acquaintances, and the reverse to strangers. And therefore comes conclusion. There is nothing impossible or out of the order of nature in our finding a guardian. Socrates comes to the idea that perfect guardian, perfect aristocrat should combine in his soul qualities of excellent warrior and qualities of great philosopher. Then he who is to be a really good and noble guardian of the state will require to unite in himself philosophy and spirit and swiftness and strength. Swiftness means speed and quickness of reaction. Then Socrates describes in detail how should guardians be educated and reared. Reared means brought up. On the one hand, their education should be of traditional sort. Gymnastics for the body and music for the soul. On the other, it would involve censorship of poetry and stories. Socrates argues that stories that ascribe evil of gods and heroes or portray the afterlife as bad are untrue and should not be taught. Guardians shall be prohibited from owning private property and wealth so as to keep their focus on the good of the city. Also, the guardians will share wives and children. One of the Socrates' interlocutors, Adamantus, asks him a question. If guardians have no families, no property, no close connections, they will be the most miserable persons in the state. Socrates argues, no, if they have no money to spend on temptation, no close relationship to have desires or very deep emotions, they will be the happiest persons. They will be just happy, focused, and empty. These ideas from the first sight may seem unrealistic, a little bit strange, not really corresponding to modern society, but I remind you that Socrates' main point was to show that justice is a balance between the parts of the soul. He makes the analogy between the parts of the soul and the city. If we consider the city as a metaphor of individual soul, everything becomes clearer. The city consists of three parts. The highest part, the rulers, or aristocrats or guardians, then auxiliaries, just warriors who help the rulers and producing class. And according to Socrates and according to Plato, of course, who is the author of this book, human soul also consists of three parts. The highest part, the rational part, then passions and appetites. And our passions and appetites, in other words, spirit and desire, should obey the highest, the rational part, and should not rebel. Appetites or passions should not rule the individual. Otherwise, his life would be destroyed, would be miserable. And would you not say that he is temperate who has the same elements in the friendly harmony, in whom the one ruling principle of reason and the two subject ones of spirit and desire, and equally agreed that reason ought to rule and not to rebel? Temperate, neither very hot nor very cold. In other words, the perfect individual is moderate or temperate, who has the golden middle between rational and emotional. This is the best idea of Asian philosophy, I think. If you want to study English through great texts, please subscribe to my channel for more.